Saturday. It's time for a little live stream with Alexander, right from North Carolina, Greensboro snow camp, far out on the countryside. I've been in the US now for 2.5 months, and it became the start of my reignition, my fear-facing journey 2.0. Before I got here, I had gotten comfortable and putting myself in this new situation, new job, new friends, new environment, new everything, living out of 2 suitcases. I came to realize that, damn, I had really declined from my previous state, feeling confident, and my channel back in the days, approaching girls and just being the fear-facing maestro. And it's like when your parents get old and they think they can do whatever because when they were young, they used to be in good shape and could do whatever. But if you don't practice that shit, you will deteriorate. Your body, your muscles, your mind, everything is a fresh good, and you need to condition that regularly. Just as you need to condition your English speaking abilities. And I'm working on mine daily. But so I got here and I got the awakening that I have truly a really low self-esteem. When I was put in the context my new job, and I felt judged, I didn't dare to carry myself. The confidence wasn't there as it should have been. I felt like, this is not me. What's happening? And in the beginning, I wasn't doing much about it because so much new stuff was just there. So I had to deal with just being at my new job and learning new stuff. But when a few weeks had gone by and I landed, I realized, no, this is not how to live. This is not me, because when I was in my comfortable place, home in Sweden, even though I didn't test myself. And now when I was out here testing myself, the image that I still thought that I was a confident, high self-esteem person just before moving here. When I was put in this context, I realized that's not who I am anymore. I need to work on this shit. So for the past weeks, I've wholeheartedly embraced this fear-facing journey of just doing what I can to build that confidence, that self-esteem again. And it's such a great journey. And when I say great, I mean, you can feel the growth daily, but goddamn, it's a tough journey. It's a tough journey for sure. And I'm just gonna shut down my other computer because I can see it's lagging a bit here. And so what do? Why am I even streaming? What is this all about? Well, I'm shutting my stuff down because this is lagging. And I'm sitting here partially because I need to just face my fears. I want to do this, and sitting here talking, it's scary. I had to walk. I avoided this for 2 hours last week, and I didn't do this because I excused myself because I was on a surfing weekend, and I got home late Sunday. I'm not going to do this. And it's part of the journey. What I'm doing now, what I'm presenting as a solution to it all, is to just, as I said back in the days, flip on the switch for your fear radar, start identifying where you feel resistance, what scares you, what you deep within knows that you have to do, and then you just do it. And we make it happen we do it more doable by breaking it down to make it a system, a process. This is not an emotional process. It is, but we want to make it a daily habit. We want to make sure that you can hear me by closing the door, since I'm living at a church and they are cutting the grass. So the process is simple. The habit is simple. On a daily basis, we wake up. Okay, I'm presenting this from the perspective of how I'm approaching this right now. When I wake up in the morning, I remind myself, I listen to some good shit. I remind myself that today is another day of facing fears, because when I have that mentality, that goal to do the things that takes me towards where I'm going to go, the things that aligns with my bigger vision, which doesn't need to be grandiose, big and all. Right now, for me, it's to build my self-esteem and to do the stuff that's hard, because I know that just makes me feel great. So I'm not super crystal clear in exactly what those actions need to be. I'm more in an intuitive state where where my radar pings on things, and I realize that is something that needs to be done, and I write that down. I have a piece of paper where I write FF, fear facing actions, that they ping at least a couple of times, and I know when they come up like that, repetitive, uh-huh, this is better, this is something I better write down, because this is something that it's draining me of energy. And it does that because we know that we kind of have to do it. It's the quote unquote right thing to do, but we're not we're avoiding it because that's how our body and mind works. We don't want to be in that uncomfortable state. So especially in this world where we live, where it's so easy to avoid all these pains by distracting ourselves. The phone, the food, the whatever it is, basically the phone is probably the biggest contributor of making us distracted these days. It's so easy to avoid these thoughts, these fears. That's why it all starts with awareness. You can skip the whole fear facing part if you want, and for the first weeks, just practice the awareness part, not escaping those those disgusting little emotions within that tells you that this is hard. Because when you do that enough, you can't avoid it. It's like it's screaming at you. It's like when you know what is draining you of energy like that, you want to solve the issue, because the beauty of facing your fears, when you've written it down and then you go do that thing, it dissolves the anxiety most of the times, not always, but over time, most of the times it dissolves the pain. At least I'm speaking from my own experience now, from these past weeks now, when I'm deliberately are in this mood and I daily seek to resolve my fear facing actions. And this is also dependent on how you are as a person. For me, which is something that I've fully realized now, being in such a self-reflective and awareness state, man, do I get anxiety from what other people may think of me. It's like I had my boss, he sent me a meeting request, or a recurring meeting request this week, and it was like every Friday 2:30, catch up and thingy. It said in the invitation, and like that, my mind said, okay, now I've been working here for 4 weeks, and they see that I don't live up to what I should live up to what I deliver, what I should deliver. There, it's gonna be they're gonna really narrow down on my problems now. They're gonna grill me. It's on from now on. It's gonna be tough, man. I started to like this and all. So I just instantly, without thinking about it, I go to this state where I'm taking on the worst case scenario, and that's individual. I'm prone to doing that a lot. But the thing is, that is something. This problem has two solutions. One solution is to learn, like more of a Michael A. Singer solution to it, learning how to let go and not let that get to you, and meditate acceptance, let it flow over you and all that, which is super hard. I mean, you can work with these in parallel, but it's hard because if you're prone to having those nagging thoughts, you will easily come back to that place again. The other solution for how I solved the issue this week is that, well, let's face the goddamn reality then. Let's, instead of waiting an entire week until I know what this meeting is about, let's go talk with my boss and see what this is about, so I don't have to spend 4 days before finding out what's going on here. Maybe it is the case that we need to work on my performance, that I need to improve, but let's do that then. Let's fix the problem. Or maybe it's so that it's not at all as my mind has interpreted the situation to be. Either way, this thought popped up, the fear of talking, the fear of what that might be. It was identified after the first day when I saw it. It took like 2 hours before I realized that this was going on. And like, oh, this is a fear. So I wrote it down, and then it's like, okay, what can we actually do about it? Well, yeah, I can just wait and trying to let go of it, or I can write him and ask, hey, what's this about? Or I can just walk by his office, face him, and just say, which I did, hey, X, I saw that we have a reoccurring meeting thing going on from now on. What's that about? Something like that. Yeah, more on a more positive note, I delivered that line. And it was just like, yeah, it's you're new here, and we need to, because I've been doing very specific things, and he just said he wanted to touch grass on me getting in sync with the bigger picture of what we're doing here and so forth, and I needed any help and all that. So it was a totally different scenario than my worst case scenario was painting, which is usually the case for me. It's always the case. I always go to that worst case scenario. It's in my family, we actually have one of my siblings has this diagnosis, which is called GAD, a generalized anxiety syndrome. Diagnosed, I don't know it, which is diagnosed that basically makes you generalize everything the worst case. And I can, after these weeks, I realize how bad that can be for me. It's like as soon as one of these issues are solved, then there's another social thingy that pops out, like, oh, maybe that's another. So it's a lot. So I really need to work on the whole letting go part, and not going to this place and not having to clarify with every person that they don't hate me. Because if you go asking every person, is something wrong, that makes you come off as a low self-esteem person, which you are, but it doesn't really help. You also need to think about your how you're putting yourself out there, and there's ways of finding solutions. The point being, what I'm trying to present here is that just this fear-facing method, having an awareness, identifying what it is, writing it down, having it on a piece of paper in front of you, it's like, okay, throughout the day, I usually have 2 or 3 things there. And since I started doing this, those things have been done every day. It's like, damn, I get so much done, because those things that scares you are usually the biggest hinder in your life. They're usually the things that holds you back. It's like right now I'm trying to buy a car here in the south, in the country. Yeah. And I'm on a holding path because the friendly neighbors that is taking care of the church that is sitting over there, and that's actually the pastor's door, the pastor's study. I'm in the pastor's study room right now. Those taking care of the church, super nice old couple. They have an old Toyota, and I've discussed with them that maybe that could be a car for me, but they haven't really acted. Nothing is really happening. And so yesterday I was out biking here because I'm watching another family's dogs over there, and I was biking by their house, and then just as I did there, that she was driving by, this old lady, super nice lady, and she was waving, and then she went into her home. Uh, but I biked and I realized, or my awareness radar, ding 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 ding, something pinged like, okay, here we have a situation. I'm waiting for an action on them too because they wanted to wash the car before making it presentable to me, and it was like dragging out, and I just wanted to have a look at the car. And when I was biking there, I realized, well, if I just turn around, bike in there, and start talking with them, most likely that will lead to me just being able to have a look at their car. And that can save me days because I'm on hold for buying any other car before having a look at that one. So, and that whole process just takes a lot of energy. So, if I, again, just by being aware, identifying a fear, and then taking action on that fear, which I did, ended up spending about 2.5 hours there, having a super nice conversation with both of them because that old man was also there, and just connecting and bonding, which is that's also what life's all about, building relationships. I've been here for 2 months now, and I'm I'm currently holding the key to another family's house because I'm watching their dogs, and I'm allowed to stay there if I want and borrow their cars and everything. And that old couple, they said, well, you don't need to buy it. You can just borrow it from us anytime you want. That's fine. It's like building that social network, which I've realized coming here to the States, you can actually do. When I was in Stockholm living in an apartment and really not getting out much, nothing was really happening. Here it's like during 2 months, I've established such a great network, so many adventures. And like last weekend, I went with the family that I'm now watching the dogs for because they're in Europe. They invited me to come join them entire last weekend to their apartment by the coast, and we went surfing the entire weekend, and we went out to dinner, and we had looked at a motorcycle that his friend had that I might buy. And it's just, I mean, I'm having so many great adventures here just due to the fact that I'm daring to be social and put myself out there and facing these fears and taking the chance to interact with people. Lost the we've lost the touch with just being social in real life, and it's an amazing experience here. But it's playing out like that because I'm doing this. I'm identifying the fears and I'm doing it. I mean, it's not easy. I'm having a lot of anxiety over this. And before I take the pull the plug and go do these things, the anxiety level is huge. Before doing this stream, I was avoiding it for running around here for 2 hours. Like, okay, I'm gonna do a stream. Then, yeah, I'm just gonna eat some. I'm just gonna do some workout first. I'm just gonna do everything. But in the end, we need to do it. And if I wouldn't have sat down to do this stream, I would have felt so ashamed of myself from my own perspective. Like, this is something I believe in. This is something I've said I'm going to do. This is something I believe in. I want to do this. But yet the resistance is so big. And if we don't follow through on that, oh, that's hard. So I don't want to go on for too long. I just wanted to share my reflection throughout the week and what I've been going through, and maybe inspire in the process of how to approach this journey, because it is indeed working. And if you want some good reads, as the previous weeks, I've talked about the No More Mr. Nice Guy and Six Pillars of Self-Esteem. Great books, both of them, and they can be found and listened to here on YouTube directly. I think that's it for this week. And today I'm gonna do my. I try to avoid the thing that is coming up next. I was almost gonna skip it. You see, it's yesterday. It was Swedish Midsummer, and kind of one of the bigger holidays here, not here, back in Sweden. And since we're in the US, there's no such thing as midsummer. But the office I'm working on has a lot of maybe 30% Swedish people, and a bunch of them is actually arranging a midsummer party today. But I'm moving in a week, and I got tons of practical stuff to do. So I know like I really should go to this party, but I got so many things to do. I need to wash my I need to clean the house because I'm living here with a friend, but he's in Sweden, and I need to clean the entire house before he comes back. Um, I need to do research on the car I may be buying, and I need to drive some things to the new place I'm moving. I had a long list of excuses for why I shouldn't go because I got so much to do. But in the end of it, I talked to my best friend Christopher, and he pointed out that what's really important are kind of these moments with these new people, old people, relationships, having these moments that you really will cherish and remember. And like I just preached, building these networks, these relationships, and you're not gonna build relationships sitting at home sweating in 30 degrees Celsius because it's really hot outside and I don't have the AC on right now. That's where the magic really happens, not cleaning the house or whatever. I can just be more efficient and do that tomorrow. But I had decided, yeah, to 90%, I'm not gonna go because I got so much stuff to do. But that was just the narrative that was playing out. Because since I knew, I felt this is one of these fear-facing moments that I really should be doing, but I'm so intelligent, so I'm so good at putting up a good enough of a story to believe that this is the right decision. But I actually had needed that conversation with my friend Christopher because I put out the why I shouldn't go, and it was, yeah, done deal. And then he gave me the other perspective, and I realized, yeah, this is one of these spheres I just can't avoid. I need to do it, and I know I will enjoy it, but it's a resistance because, yeah, if you have a tendency to go towards the social anxiety side of things, that's usually where you end up. But I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna go there in a couple of hours, gonna take a shower and all that. So it's gonna be my first Swedish American midsummer, and maybe I'll tell you all about it next week. That's it for me this day. I encourage you to go out there and face some fears because the end of it, not the end of it, my kind of big revelation conclusion this week of reflection and doing what I do is like all you need to do is just go towards those fears, do what's uncomfortable. I mean, it sucks, but life is always good when you do. And that being said, in a context of, yeah, doing things that you intuitively knows is right. If you did everything that scared you, yeah, well, maybe you wouldn't have time to do all that. It's a lot of things that scares you, but there's a difference. We know if we really are aware. That's why it's so important. If we really pay attention to what's going on in here, we know what has the biggest resistance within, what scares us the most. And I'd say in 90% of the cases, that's what we really should be doing. And in 99% of the cases, that is what will just make us feel good. It makes us feel fulfilled because we're doing something that takes us towards where we need to go, want to go, whatever. And it's a simple life solution. Do what scares you, and it will be good. At least I stand by that. Life's not supposed to be easy. The easy way is the bad way. It's not that's not how it works. It just isn't. Let that be the final words for today. I wish you a happy Swedish midsummer, which technically was yesterday. Today everyone in Sweden is hangover and eating pizza and just maybe they're not in misery, but yeah. Happy Swedish midsummer. I'm gonna go off. Have a great day. I wish you the same. Go out there, face some fears, guys and girls, or it, she, he. I don't know what you call yourself these days, but I love you anyways. Kisses and hugs. Puss.